Greetings, pen pals. It's finally here. This is the PenBBS 492. It took me a while to get one of these, and I do thank all you viewers out there for your patience, but I did finally get this pen. I'll describe the machinations I had to go through to get it in a minute. Not an easy pen to get. Before I get started, I want to really give a special shout out of thanks to some of my fellow YouTubers who, because they've put videos up on this pen a while ago, made my job in reviewing this pen quite a bit easier. So a special shout out to Chris, Doug, and Aaron. You guys do fantastic work each and every video you put out, but in particular, I really want to thank you for doing the thorough jobs you did on reviewing this pen. I hope I can add a little bit to the discourse on this, and I would encourage all of my viewers out there to check out Chris, Doug, and Aaron's videos on this pen. I will include links to the relevant videos in the notes on this video. What more can I say? This pen has a extremely unique filling mechanism. We'll get into all that. Let's just go through the basics. It's not. It's a kind of an average weight pen. Weighs 26 grams. From a size perspective, again, we're not talking about a particularly large or oversized pen. Here it is compared to a Lamy Safari and a Pilot Metropolitan, so it's kind of in line with those. If you want to compare it with some other PenBBS pens, we can certainly do that. Here it is with a 456, so you can see it's just a tiny bit shorter than that. Here it is compared to a 500, and you can see it's pretty much about the same size as the 500. Here it is compared to a 355. Again, a little shorter than the 355. And here it is compared to a 268. And it's pretty much about the same size as a 268. So these are some PenBBS pens, all with different filling systems for the most part. Does every the 268, I was gonna say, does every pen here have a different filling system? But not quite. The 268 and the 456 are both VAX, but all the others are different filling mechanisms. So PenBBS has really been going all out on different filling systems as of late. So this one is absolutely no exception to that. Let's talk for a quick second about how they package this thing. This has one of the most elaborate PenBBS boxes I've ever seen. So it's a pretty big box. It says PenBBS on top, nicely made box. You kind of just lift the lid off, and pen comes wrapped in a little piece of plastic. There's a pen bed here with this little strap if you want to secure it in later. But the nice, real important thing is here is you get a bonus with this pen. You get this really, really nice Inkwell, which with a really, really nice glass. This reminds me of the glass bottles that some of the Iroshizuku inks come in, the Nemosign inks that come in great bottles like this, the Pelikan Edelstein inks come in bottles like this. So this is a nice bottle, kind of like sharp corners here, really nice kind of cube effect ink bottle. It's got the Year of the Rat emblem in some sort of like an abalone shell inset here, which is nice. And then you open it up. Not a huge thing, so you have a gigantic oversized pen and wouldn't fit in here, but certainly the 492 would fit in here, etc. So not a huge amount. You're not going to. It's not 100 milliliters or anything like that, but you can fit a couple of fillings of ink in here at least. So nice ink bottle bonus. That's included. Pen would be a good value with or without, even without this. So it's nice, and the ink bottle rests nicely in there. So they did a pretty nice job on the packaging and the extra bonus with this as well. So where do we begin? Let's just go through the standard parts here. Has a very, very nice cap band. So it's a wide cap band. It's in, again, this rose gold trim, which is sort of carried on throughout the theme here. This pen is meant to commemorate the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Rat, 2020. So it has the rat emblem, PenBBS, and 2020. So it's got sort of this curved effect going on the cap band. It has these vertical indentations, which look really nice. And furthermore, it has this notch, which just kind of looks cool, kind of offsets to complement the point in the end of the clip. Speaking about the clip, the shape is the traditional PenBBS sword style clip that's found on a bunch of other PenBBS pens. For example, here it is shape-wise almost identical on the 456. This has a matte finish, metallic finish, just this identical finish to the cap band. It does have this logo here, which is new for PenBBS. It's a screw to uncap. It takes one turn to unscrew, which is really, really, really nice. On the top of the cap is the magnet that operates the magnetic filling mechanism. The magnet is embedded in the top here, and it has a little mouse design embedded in the magnet. Would have been nice if they could have some way of rose gold finishing the magnet, because it would have just matched a little better, but that might have been challenging. This does unscrew with these threads, but as Doug warned me in the video, his video, it's difficult to get them back on, so I will not even attempt to do that unless I absolutely need to at some point, and I certainly don't need to do that now, but these threads do unscrew. The cap has not a cap liner, but one of these sort of integrated cap liner type things where you have it's machined with a ledge there, so that when you screw it back together, the section and the cap will create a seal area. The section is sort of a nice section. It's decently long. It does have a little bit of a lip here, but you'd have to be holding it in this kind of wacky position for that to really matter. So I'm not going to make too much of that. The nib itself is, again, rose gold nib. This is a medium nib. The M for medium is just under the end of the section. You could see it through the transparent part of the section. Otherwise, if it was an opaque section, you wouldn't be able to see the M for medium. It says PenBBS. Again, has the same year of the rat logo, a slit and a breather hole. And it has the normal uninspiring plastic feed with the very, very fine fins. So you have to be careful when pulling this nib and feed, like on a lot of PenBBS pens, that you don't mangle the fins. The section does unscrew, which will make cleaning quite nice. And there is a O-ring, a transparent silicone O-ring right there. I'm going to use this opportunity now that I have the section unscrewed to put a little bit of silicone grease on this portion of the section. While we've got that off, let's take a look at the filling mechanism here. So it's this magnet piston filling mechanism. So you basically engage the magnet on the piston with the magnet in the cap, and then you can move this up and down and up and down, which is pretty neat. If you take the piston all the way to the top, it'll nicely come right out for you. And again, I'm going to use this opportunity to put just a tiny bit of silicone grease on the piston. Now, this is, I wouldn't exactly call this a complicated filling mechanism at all, but it's, while we're looking at that, just so you know, on the magnet itself, it has that PenBBS logo that with that little emblem, the same as on the clip, and it has 2020 again on the magnet. Again, if they could have made the magnet in rose gold, would have been kind of cool, again, because it's one of the few things that is not rose gold on this pen. See, the magnet is very, very strong. It only attracts sort of in one spot here, but there you go, up and down and up and down. Very, 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 very neat. On the very end of the pen, there is a inset medallion in rose gold with your limited edition number. Mine is number 468. Mine is number 468. I believe this is a limited edition of 500. Again, can't be sure. I don't have confirmation of that. I haven't seen anybody mention any numbers higher than 500, so we'll have to see what happens. This medallion is threaded And I've heard some of the other reviewers say that they were able to turn theirs and get them out. I tried a little bit. Mine doesn't seem to want to come out. Don't have a particular need to take it out at this point in time, but haven't really tried very hard, but mine does not seem to really want to easily come out, at least. So that is the parts of this pen, and there's quite a few of them. I have not tried to ink this up yet. I've mostly been enjoying playing with this piston mechanism, and it is pretty cool. Now, one might ask, what's the point of this? Yes, it's neat. What do you really save? Let's compare it. The one I would most compare it to would be the 355. 355 has a piston mechanism, and effectively, you grab onto the piston, drag it down, and then the rod that you use to drag it down with, you unscrew and push it back in. This is quite a bit more of a robust filling mechanism than this. This has one disadvantage and one advantage, though, that this one doesn't have. So the one big disadvantage is that the volume of the rod is subtracted from the ink capacity. Since you have no rod in the 492 with the magnet, you have additional ink capacity. Okay, that's great. You also do gain the integrated shutoff valve. Now, some people don't like that and wouldn't regard that as a positive. I actually kind of like the shutoff valve. You don't have anything like that here, so there is that trade-off. When you have a filling mechanism like this, you're definitely getting it for like the cool factor or the wow factor. As a purely practical matter, if you really just wanted to maximize the capacity, you would just remove the magnet mechanism, the piston altogether, and just eyedropper the pen. If that was really the goal, was to just have the most capacity of ink that you could have. That's clearly not what's going on here, because again, they could have just made it an eyedropper filler. So what you're really quote unquote paying for, or what the appeal of this really is the cool factor of the filling mechanism. It doesn't, from a practical point of view, this pen doesn't really add much to the state of the art of fountain pen ink capacity or anything like that. It does add something cool to sort of like, wow, a whole new type of filling mechanism technology. And again, those of you who are going to say it's not new, people have patents for this from 70 years ago, et cetera, and so forth. No, I get that, but there really is nothing on the market now other than this pen that has this type of magnetic filling mechanism. So again, if you just wanted to maximize the ink capacity, we just make it an eyedropper, but that's clearly not the goal here. They're going for a wow factor, and it seems, at least from what I could tell, it's succeeded. Let's throw some ink in here and see how this filling mechanism works. I'm going to be using this PenBBS ink Petra. This is kind of a brick red, reddish brick brown ink. I did feature this a couple of years ago in a review of a different pen, but I realized I don't actually have any pen currently inked up with this ink, and I do like this ink quite a bit, so that's really why I want to put it in this pen. So let's just ink this up and see how it flies. So I'm going to do it kind of right here in front of you, in front of the camera for you guys. Angle might not be the best, but let's see what we could do. First thing I'm going to do before I submerge it is I'm going to drag this piston all the way down here. I'm going to put it in the ink, and then we'll drag it up. I'm going to do that. Try to do that slowly. And there we go. We're definitely drawing up ink. That is for sure. Well, that seems to work. No doubt about it. First time, 95% full, I would say, if not more. So I'm going to count that as a win right out of the box. So A+ on the filling mechanism. That was with no rehearsal. I didn't like practice this with water or anything beforehand. So not bad at all. Kudos to PenBBS for a filling mechanism that works 100% as advertised. So very, very nice. Nicely done. So that's, I mean, wow, that's about it as far as the filling mechanism goes. I mean, you know, it works exactly the way it's supposed to. So one can't complain too much about that. there's a lot of ink in there, right? You obviously could get, it's only a fraction less ink than if you eyedroppered it. If you eyedroppered it, you'd be able to get that whatever extra space the magnet takes up, but that's about it. So nice job on this PenBBS. Big thumbs up. But pens were meant to write. And you want to see how this pen writes, don't you? I'm going to show you that right now. Hey, one thing I didn't talk about was the posting. Yes, the pen does post. It posts very nicely, actually, and I'm quite happy with it. The cap is kind of heavy, so it does back weight it a bit, but I really, really like to post my pens. From a length perspective, it's plenty long unposted, so I won't worry about that. But I do like to post my pens, so I'm going to use it posted. But anyway, let's get right on with the writing here, shall we? So this, as we have been saying, is a PenBBS model 492. And this has a medium steel nib. This writes really nice. So this is smooth. This has a flow to it. Quite nice. Nice indeed. I'm going to say from a wetness perspective, it's about average. Not a gusher or anything like that, but it definitely is flowing well. It's about the wetness that you would kind of want it to exhibit. From a flex perspective, we're going to probably say not really. This is pretty stiff. So this is not going to be a flexy nib for you flex nib fans. Reverse writing. Yeah. And I would call that a extra fine for the reverse writing. But it does seem to work, and it's pretty smooth, actually. But this really is quite pleasurable to write with. I'm going to really like this pen. Again, PenBBS has really been knocking it out of the park lately. This pen is really no exception. So a lot of the praise that other reviewers have lavished on this pen, I think, is kind of warranted. The filling mechanism, like I said, is very, very, very cool. From a engineering and design and an execution perspective, I really think they did a fantastic job with it. You saw straight out of the box, no practice, no anything. I was able to fill this up. No, didn't make a mess, nothing like that. So I just have been, I'm just very, very pleased with this. I don't really have much more to say. I think this is if you can get a hold of one of these, they're not. Oh, let's talk about. Yeah, I do have more to say. Let's talk about what it took to actually get this pen. So this pen is available locally in China from Taobao, which is a Chinese online seller, but they sell in China. So if you want to buy from them, you need to use a shipping agent or forwarding agent. The one I've used for quite a few years for a bunch of other pens and things is one called Superbuy. So the way it works is Taobao sends the pen to Superbuy, and then Superbuy puts it in their warehouse. You can order multiple items, and Superbuy will hold them for you until everything from maybe from many different vendors has arrived, or you can just do it with one item like I did in the case of this pen. When it arrives at Superbuy, you then tell Superbuy to ship it to you. This would be me in this picture. It's an incredibly well-rendered self-portrait. So you're going to pay two fees. You're going to pay one fee to Taobao to buy the pen and ship it to Superbuy. In this case, the US dollar equivalent of that was $56.54. So that's to buy the pen and ship it locally to the Superbuy warehouse in China. Then, once Superbuy gets it, you then have a bunch of different shipping options that you could use to ship it from them to yourself. The one I used cost $17.01. So altogether, the pen cost me $73.55, which I believe would make it the most expensive PenBBS pen that I own. However, I actually think it's worth it. I think this is really just for let's call it a $75 pen. This is worth it. as a $75 pen. I don't question that for a minute. If this was just available locally through a U.S. retailer with shipping, $75, I'd say all day long it's a good value. So I'm not going to quibble about the price. This process end to end, I believe, took about 5 or 6 weeks. So not quick. There may have been faster ways of doing it using other shipping agents, etc. Obviously, this is not the best time to be shipping things from China or anywhere really all over the world. So that's kind of part of what the issue is. I think that'll be about do it for this pen. Let's talk about this ink now for a minute, shall we? Okay, this ink is also from PenBBS. This is PenBBS Petra. And this is also has a number, which is all PenBBS inks have a number in addition to a name, and this is number 283. So this is sort of a, I'll call it like a brick color. Some people might say a brownish red, etc. Petra is an interesting name. It's the name of a city in Jordan, famous for its archaeological sites. One is featured on this bottle from PenBBS. Also means stone in Latin. So this is a nice ink. It's not a hugely dark, super saturated ink. It's kind of more of a subtle ink. I thought it went kind of nice with the rose gold on here. That's kind of one of my motivations for using it. The other thing is, like I said, I really like this ink quite a bit. I realized I don't have any pen inked with it. I'm saying, like, how could that be? This is one of my favorite inks. So I wanted to remediate that with this. So anyway, great, really nice ink, ink from PenBBS. I really just like this color, and it works well. Nothing super special from a machine shading perspective, kind of typical, but just a pretty color that I like a lot. That's pretty much what this looks like on this Rhodia paper. Let's take a quick look at what this ink looks like on Tomoe River paper, shall we? Okay, folks, once again, this is PenBBS Petra, which is number 283. And there we go. Just a really, really nice color, really pretty ink. Looks really good, and I'm a fan. Just a nice ink. Works well, and again, I'm very happy with the way it complements this pen. Rose gold's always a tricky one if you want something that at least complements the rose gold. You know, if that's something you care about, then the ink selection is always a little bit tricky. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know I certainly did. I was really, really looking forward to both using this pen, reviewing this pen, etc. So I hope this video met with your expectations. If you're not a subscriber, I would like to suggest that maybe you might want to become one. Keep those thumbs up coming. And please, please, please leave a comment or 2 or 3. They're always welcome. And as always, until we see each other again, have a great day. Bye-bye.